So this is my Dream Wave forecast for September. Today's September 1st. It'll be September 2nd in about 12 minutes. And for this month, I'm a little late, but I wanted to prep my community with what I feel is where I feel the frequencies are moving this month. It is very significant time as it is every September. There's markers on the Hebrew calendar as well as other various numerological and astrological significations. In this specific time, we're deep into the retrograde planetary influences. All the outer planets are retrograded, which means that we're in a time of reflection, reassertion, and refocus. Not a time to initiate things, not a time to move forward on housing, on relationships, not to initiate. But if you do, just observe and watch them carefully, how they flow and how they end up on the next, or how they resolve or end or continue on the next retrogrades. Usually whatever's began on a retrograde will usually end on a retrograde, if not earlier. And in particular, we have a lot of different arrows pointing in much chaos in this month, in a sense. The point is to employ it so that it makes sense to us in our lives by following our personal authorities relative to your human design type. In this case, there's also a foreshadowing of the sleeping Phoenix of 2027. The nodes have gone into Aries, have gone into the sun, to the gate 42, which is an Aries gate, the gate of increase. I'll be going over that as well and touching upon one of the main themes I'll be touching upon this month, and something to watch, is the last week of this month. There are many markers. There are multiple aspects occurring at the end of the month. One will be the moon, especially the full moon on the 29th, conjunct Pluto. And there are some earlier markers around September 21st, 22nd, 23rd, especially September 24th. And so watch these days carefully. Plans may need to change this month. We're in a Mercury retrograde till the 15th, but the shadow remains till October. Venus retrograde is ending in a couple of days, but the shadow will carry on for a good part of the month. So seeing others clearly is still not possible, not very possible, unless you have patience and you can be in your heart and truly see another with the eye of your heart. Now, to start the forecast, I'll go through and kind of unpack some of what I've expressed. Virginia Woolf said, she was a early writer of the 19th century, the eyes of others, our prisons, their thoughts, our cages. I think this speaks to the electronic cloud that we all live in these days, where there is no shadow, no space away from like this electronic smog, this all enveloping Neptunian frequency, parasitic awareness that a lot of our digital technology, not all of it, but a lot of our digital technology is attempting to inhabit both our physical spaces and our frequency spaces. And this is beginning to attempt to overwhelm our very essence, our very frequency, soul technology or spirit tech. And I think we've all been feeling this for some time as the increasing type of electronic smog has been covering and terraforming our plane here, our construct here. And this is something that we're also seeing in the astrology that I'll be touching on once I get into the Neptune transit in Pisces, which will still be happening for another couple of years. But it will eventually begin to wane, and such efforts to kind of parasite our consciousness will fall away. Here I have a recognition, early foreshadowing of the 2027 sleeping Phoenix awareness that Rob brought forth. And this is the change. This is a new 400-year cycle that's beginning in 2027 that Ra termed the sleeping Phoenix. And this is the end of tribal consciousness, the continuation of individuated and collective consciousness. But at the same time, this is a new transformative awareness of the emotional body, of the emotional solar plexus. This is the end, in some ways, of mental awareness. And ironically, this is a month of mental awareness being dominated by the frequency of Virgo, which is a very strong mercurial and mental frequency, as I'll delineate here today. The planets are the walled dreams, the bars of our caged dream, filtering the narration of our fevered dreamscape construct. The planets impel, yet do not compel. We take hold of the keys they hold and unlock our own mental cages. The chart is a space time traces out for our journey. We design the walls of our creatrix with patience, grace, and gratitude. The purpose of life is to play out what we do not yet understand, and then to remember back into ourselves each and every shard of memory, with charges released. Time carves out the space where we dictate our verse, waiting as we grow from the daily efforts we make in the day-to-day, gradual and natural growth of our awareness, of our spirit. Now, as I list every month, I'm going to list all the gates the sun goes through. These are all Virgo gates this month until we get to the end when they're more Libra gates. In every gate, there is a choice. Meditate in these gates within you. We just left gate 40 yesterday. This should have been a time, not should, but this was a time these last couple of days of kind of coming back into resourcing, resetting, and restoring yourself and your set intention. We're in a period of great reflection because of the mercurial retrograde. And actually yesterday and the day before, we've also started to get into gate 37. Not the sun, but the moon. Gate 37 is the Pisces gate, 7 degrees Pisces. We just had this full moon, and some of us are still feeling it as the effects of a full moon last about maybe a day or two prior and a day or two after. And this is when the moon is really bright, really large in the sky, and attempts to absorb our emotional awareness and almost test us to see if we can not react to the increase in this kind of triggered awareness. What do you want to co-create with others and the agreements that follow? Your choice is to be present in your body or escape presence by using your body to hide yourself, or using a facade of yourself to hide your body. Either escape is escape as Neptunian digital self reformats continue to attempt to dissolve our life force consciousness, reach respective agreements for new endings and old beginnings. I mentioned this parasitic awareness because Pisces energy lacks boundary. It's all encompassing, and it's all consuming. And so a Piscean awareness struggles with any type of boundary. And this is where its polar opposite, Virgo energy, comes in. Virgo energy always holds off the waves of overwhelm, of full consumption by the wave frequencies and the wave water energy of the Piscean Neptunian influence. So the sun will be moving in very soon into gate 64, and gate 64 is to know what and let go of how, allow clarity to come on its own, confusion or patient clarity. So gate 64 is a mental gate, and you can become lost in confusion, or you can let go of any need for certainty and allow the mysticism to come to you, allow the clarity to come to you when it's ready to. And this will be from September 4th to September 10th. From September 10th to the 16th, we have gate 47. Relax into inspiration and your arriving insights, or become obsessed with incomplete mental fixations. This is a very heady frequency in gate 47. And this will be arriving around the time of the new moon. And this new moon will be in Virgo, 21 degrees, a great time to begin a new intention of cleansing, whether it's a mental cleansing or a body cleansing or a spiritual cleansing. And this is a new moon of grace, as I call it. On September 16th to the 21st, we'll enter gate 6. This is war before peace. Release, spell out your words in the correct moments in the flow of mind-time awareness. If possible, process emotions before sharing with others. Virgo in energy represents a cold distillation of hope, or of the excessive emotional overwhelm of Piscean energy. And the gate 6 holds this particular frequency of clearing the air before peace can come forth. On September 21st, and this is the spring equinox, always a very powerful time of transition and transformative awareness as we move into fall, as the days get shorter. Gate 46 is a gate of loving or hating the body. Embodiment. Remember to thank your body, your vehicle, every day, and give it the oil changes and checkups it needs. Its basic mechanics, as Rob described. This again underscores the importance of somatics, especially as we continue to move towards the sleeping phoenix, which nuances the need to get back into our bodies and to leave this mentally obsessed kind of cultural awareness that we've been breathed into here in the West, where every focus is the mind, is based on mental constructs and judged based on mental constructs. Hence the earlier quote of Virginia Woolf. Gate 18 will begin around September 27th to the 29th. And this is the gate of perfecting energy. What is the story we are telling ourselves? Do we have any plot twist available to mobilize our frequency bands or become obsessed with the imagined errors of others? Because this is a full moon, in Aries, boundaries will be very difficult at this time. Now, Aries arrives, it re-begins the zodiac, whereas Pisces ends it. But it is not recognized enough that Aries energy, perhaps even more than Pisces, is the most sensitive placement for the moon in astrology. And during this particular full moon in Aries that happens on September 29th, it will be difficult to work through things because of the lack of boundaries. Remember that the full moon ends things. The full moon brings things to their apex, to their climax of release. And most humans react to this energy, or even led to react to this energy. And thus, it is easy for the frequencies which kind of rule on a lower frequency, this construct we live in, it's easier for them to set up events utilizing astrological frames. And this happens every 6 to 7 months when we have eclipse, and eclipse season is beginning in October. There'll be a solar eclipse October 14th and a lunar eclipse October 28th. The one to watch, of course, is the solar eclipse, because when the sun is eclipsed, there are hidden things that are happening that we don't always see so clearly. Thus, it's important to look elsewhere than whatever the headlines are, and see and recognize them as like cover screens of what is really happening, hidden somewhere else. So gate 18 is also in the I Ching known as the gate of black magic, and working, clearing and purifying the past, especially sometimes it signifies the mother and the matrilineal bloodlines. In this case, this is a very dark time. In essence, it's best to be with oneself and to not be around a lot of people. So this energy can be processed in such a way that you're working through your own issues of perfecting and moving in the direction of accepting and allowing your own kind of self-awareness and sense of yourself. The full moon will be in gate 17, not 18. It'll just be coming off 18. And this this signifies a firm, fair, and flexible logical solutions, or becoming lost in static, binary, dualistic thinking traps. So there will be some clarity brought about by this full moon, but it will not be without a lot of work and a lot of shift in energy. I want to note here that this last week of the month, and perhaps a couple of days before, from around the 23rd, 24th, that this is a very potent time to focus on things that you want to become clear in your life. As I noted, this energy will also be taken advantage of by those who attempt to manipulate our experience here in this construct. And this will be an anticipation in setting forth the chess pieces for the eclipses of October. Now, the Venus retrograde, as I noted, will still be in shadow until October. Once October arrives, we'll have a better sense of clarity and be able to see others a little more clearly. Right now, we're still kind of lost unless we're really patiently discerning with the eye of the heart. As I noted, it'll be very difficult to see others clearly. And so our judgment is slowly clearing up by the end of the month. Be careful again of financial investments or buying things of large expenses. Best to wait until the retrograde passes. Last note on this month on the Virgo frequency. Virgo frequency is about or signifies the archetypes of the Holy One, the Hermit, the Purifier, and the importance is getting back into the body, getting into somatics, stretching out your body before letting, or if the mental awareness gets too heavy, so you can get back into your body. And I noted, in other words, that this transformation in the last week of the month revolves around potentials for really shocking transformations in the social world around us. But this will also be happening within us as the outer construct reflects our inner awareness and penetrates into us. Here I'm noting all the planets that are retrograde. For Jupiter, reassess your luck. For Saturn, revise your outlooks and plans. For Neptune, re-envision your goals. For Uranus, reset your electrical body and your own electronics. And for Pluto, review, reflect on your obsessions and discern for the truth present in them or outside of them. Pluto moon days are September 3rd, September 9th, September 17th, September 23rd, and September 29th. The potent effects being especially the last, one of the last days of the month for the full moon in Aries. A note here I wanted to return to is Neptune continues in Pisces, presently retrograding. I may have spoken about this, but this especially affects Virgos, as Neptune is in Pisces, opposing Virgo, but it's also squaring other mutable signs like Sagittarius and Gemini. So there is a lot of confusion, illusion, and the need to penetrate through a mist for those particular mutable signs. Again, this is Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini. A lot of things are not clear with Pisces aspecting so close to people with planets in these signs. So be patient and discern. A lot of deception can hide in Neptunian transits. And with that, the power days of the month, the 4th, the 14th, 15th, the 21st, and the 23rd. Hideaway days include the 12th, the 16th, the 19th, 22nd, the 26th, and the 29th. I'll see you all on the other side of this month. Best to you all. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next month.